Alrighty, so apparently Asmongold has some words about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's run for the president, which she hasn't announced yet, but like, wink wink nudge nudge, she's probably gonna try. Okay, let's see what he's got to say.
You are starting to see the ascent of the right, even in places like Munich. Marco Rubio's speech was a pure appeal to Western culture. My favorite part was when he said that American Cowboy...
Oh, and the part that you can't see really easily because of my face being there, let me go ahead and fix that for you real quick. Just so you can see what I'm seeing, because, like, I feel like once upon a time I got frustrated at Asmongold's random fucking eyebrow twitches back when he was more of like a benign content creator, and then he became kind of this like poster child for everything right-wing on the internet. So like now I feel like when I make that particular argument, or I'm like I can't stand his content because of the fucking eyebrow wiggle, I feel like there's less weight to that now. Because before it was just like, nah, he's insufferable. Now it's just like, no, he's got caustic opinions. I said, your face being there is an improvement over Asmongold, Suris. Okay, well, let's see what we got. Let's see what we got.
Boys came from Spain.
Well, yeah, I mean, like the conquistadors did.
Just for context, the roots of American cowboy culture trace directly back to the Iberian Peninsula, where it is referred as vaquero. And this is what Rubio said.
The entire romance of the cowboy archetype that became synonymous with the American West, these were born in Spain.
He's 100% right, by the way.
American cowboys came from Spain.
I thought they came from Winnetou, but...
I believe the Mexicans and descendants of African enslaved peoples would like to have a word.
So, it's one of those things where that styling comes from multiple regions. And so, yeah, people who came up from Mexico are part of that as well. So it's one of those things where, like, congratulations, you said a true thing, but that doesn't necessarily mean that AOC's wrong here.
I think it's also important to note how thin that foundation is.
Okay, let's explain
Culture is changing. Culture...
Yeah, that's the problem. I think things were really good the way it was. Now you're trying...
What is the way it was, though? Like, here's the thing. Every dumb motherfucker on the internet that has this opinion of, I think things were good the way it was, they can never contextualize it. They can never add any texture to that statement. It's always some vacuous, I liked how things were, but it usually ends up being, I liked how things were before I was politically aware. I liked how things were before I understood things around me. And that's kind of frustrating.
And to change it and make it into something that it's not? I don't think so.
They want to take this mantle.
Hold on, try that again?
Now you're trying to change it and make it into something that it's not? I don't think so.
Change what? Like American culture? And make it into something that it's not? What the fuck does that mean? Culture changes all the time. It's not an argument.
So
they want to take this mantle of culture. At the end of the day, though, you know, it is very thin.
Really? European and Western culture is very thin?
Mm-hmm. All culture is very thin. Also, when we're talking about Western culture, it's a fucking scapegoat, right? Because one man's Western culture is European culture. But another man's Western culture is America's culture, right? What's defined as Western culture means different things to different people, to the point where the statement means nothing. It has no actual value of any kind. It just exists, right? Like, okay, right-wingers in my audience, because I know that there are some of you there, you hate watch me, or you're like the responsible kind of person that consumes politics from both sides, whatever that. I don't care. Whatever side of the political aisle you're on, let me know what Western culture means to you. And what I'm guessing I'm going to find is that there's going to be at least 3 different responses in there, if not more, for what Western culture means to you. I also would like 2 different specific examples. Western culture insofar as it applies to whatever the fuck European culture means, because there's so many different places in Europe. That doesn't mean jack shit, but sure, go ahead. I would love to know what that is. Secondly, what is American culture? What does that mean? Because if I go to New York, then I go to California, then I go to Florida, and then I sit here in Georgia, I'm going to go ahead and say that that's 4 distinct cultures that have not the fuck to do with one another. And yet, we're all American. But yeah, I just want to know what y'all's thoughts are. Let me know what your view on what American or Western culture is in the comment section below. I want to know what the fuck that word means to any of y'all. Jesus Christ.
That's crazy. Because you're up there speaking English. AOC, what is the...
Because in Europe, they're speaking English. So the French, the Spaniards, Germans, like, yeah, there's English as a shared language between many of them. But German is a language, French is a language, Spanish is a language. And these are all very distinct from one another. Many of them are Germanic languages, but still, the point is... Well, actually, I don't know what my point is, because I don't know what the fuck your point is. But I guess Nitros has the best response there. So, they speak English. And?
Stand for? AOC says whiteness is imaginary and needs to be differentiated from being English, French, or German, which have rich history and heritage.
So let me get this straight. That's the point you made, right? When you were saying, like, oh, European countries have no culture? Snort. And then you bring up this fucking Matt Walsh quote, and you don't even realize that AOC is saying the same thing that you said that you disagreed with a second ago. Her point is that there's no such thing as a fucking white culture. There's multiple other cultures, there's multiple of them, but there's no fucking such thing as a white culture.
There's a very big difference between whiteness and national, like your actual culture, right? Whiteness is an imaginary thing.
Yeah, it's whatever the fuck we needed to be at the time, which is why the Irish were sometimes white, sometimes not, depending on how much we wanted to enslave them.
Being German is real.
No, there's a shared European heritage.
Being Italian.
No, not really. Like, okay. When you say a shared European heritage, does that include the Irish? Because they were not considered white. They weren't. Avalanche says, I usually see Western culture referring to North American or European sections of choice. So, okay. Whiteness used to be a very restrictive, ancestry-based definition, and then it turned into something that was much more broad and socially constructed, which, I mean, let's be honest, most racial shit is, so that we could maintain, we being white people in our fucking power and Western power structures, so that we could maintain social and economic power. Nitro says, aren't Turks European? But I guess they're not white. Like, that's the thing. European doesn't... That means people who are from Europe, or people who were born in Europe, but that ancestry is not a culture. And that thing is not whiteness. Those are 2 different things. Like, just in the United States, Forbes actually has an article on this, just in the United States, there has been a very, very amorphous, changing definition of what the fuck the white race is. It's not a singular thing. It hasn't been ever. And trying to argue that it ever has always been politically motivated. It's always been for the purpose of trying to alienate some people out of whiteness so that you can get power to whiteness, or alienate people away from whatever the fuck isn't whiteness so that you can take power from whiteness, I guess. It's just fucking race and power. It's all the fuck it is. I like how Asmon does zero research into anything. Then again, I did zero research in my King Critical video because I just felt like hip-firing that one. And then he got, like... not even butthurt, just like, It said that I had made the worst video he had ever seen, which, cool, I guess. So I guess I can't be as mad at Asmon as I could be, because I also sometimes do a video entirely from the hip without doing any research, like I did with that one.
Italian is real, being English.
Yeah. So she's a retard. It is a shared ancestral and cultural heritage that is predicated on Roman and Greek ethics, morality.
Wait. The Turks? Roman? Are you sure? Are you sure? So it's Roman and Greek, not European?
Politics, basically nation building and culture. So she doesn't understand that.
Is because we want to tell a larger story, that what is happening is indeed very grave. And we are in a new era, domestically and globally. There have been many leaders who've said we will go back. And I think we have to recognize that we are in a new day and in a new time. But that does not mean that...
Wow.
What are you even responding to?
The U.S. actually commit U.S. troops to defend Taiwan if China were to move?
I think that this is such a, I think that this is of course.
What are you even responding to?
You know who I'm missing right now is Kamala Harris. I hate to say it, but Kamala Harris would have lined something up better than that.
What are you even responding to there? She didn't have a good answer. She was thinking through her answer, and then you decided to respond to the ums and the ahs instead of anything she actually could have said. What is that? What is that?
I think that this is such a, I think that this is
fucking...
You just played it again. You played the entire thing again. That clip is repeated. What's the point afterwards? What's the thing that she says afterwards? Where's the actual argument that she makes? Asmon?
This is, of course, a very long-standing policy of the United States.
Right.
And I think what we are hoping for is that we want to make sure that we never...
AOC is being...
There's nothing... Okay. Now, to be fair, that one was on the editor. This is on Asmon's Clips channel. And I know that on his Clips channel, his editor will move things around to get to whatever he thinks is funny. So that one's just on the editor there, I guess.
Ruthlessly mocked after claiming that action can't be taken against Venezuelan because it's below the equator.
Who Maduro was as a leader. He canceled elections. He was an anti-democratic leader. That doesn't mean that we can kidnap and engage in acts of war just because the nation is below the equator. And
so I'm going to say this right now, real quick. The amount of people who knew that it was or was not under the equator was very nightmarishly small until that exact moment. And whether or not it was under the equator actually has no bearing on what she said. So what you're doing now is you're doing the Reddit thing. You're picking apart effectively a bit of grammar. It's not a grammar argument, I know that, but you're effectively doing that and then saying, aha, her greater point has no meaning whatsoever. Her point is, it is a nation that is far away, and we consider it a part of the global south. And yet, that does not mean that we have the authority to go and fucking attack them and steal their leaders and shit like that. That's what that point is, Asmon. At least, I'm assuming that's what that point is.
It's below the equator. So there's the equator and there's Venezuela. It turns out it's not below the equator. Because if you look at the equator and you look at Venezuela, you'll see that it's above the equator.
and by the way,
And by the way, I bet that's going to be good. No.
But you didn't even respond to a point that she made. Like, the greater point still stands. You did the thing where you found a turn of phrase that was incorrect, and you used it to dismiss the broader point. I agree that a leader in the United States should probably have a little more geographical knowledge than to make a faux pas like that, but the important thing is to recognize when it is just that, a fucking faux pas. But it's not on Asmon to give any grace in that situation. It's better for him to just sit there and make fun of things instead of actually responding to arguments. Again, not something I am above myself. I have done the same shit before, but I think that's why I can recognize when that's what's happening. He's literally just clip chimping and farming so he can get a reaction more than actually arguing with anything else. That said, I plan on redeeming myself for the last time I did that, but maybe not in the way that most people would think. We'll see. Nitro says he's a bum that somehow got rich, Suris. Gave hot takes on the internet, got famous. Many such cases.
Oh, this bitch is fucking retarded.
Asmon, I guarantee you that if you and AOC were to sit down and have a conversation on anything economically, anything within her actual fucking wheelhouse, you would have no ability to fight. And I'm not saying that to glaze AOC. I'm saying that because I think she would fold you fucking sideways in most conversations. We get an advantage when we're the streamers, because we get to be the ones holding the mic. We get to be the ones controlling the information that our audience gets to see, and in so doing, we get to control a narrative. We get to weave it ourselves. But when you're sitting across from another person and having a conversation, and neither of you are in control of it, things are a little bit different. Nitro says, hell, Hassan would curb stomp him without any hesitation. The thing is, though, is that Asmon gets up and hangs out with fucking Destiny and shit on live streams where they have debates / arguments with one another. So it's not that he's outside of his wheelhouse talking politically. It's just that I think that people who actually understand these topics would fold him fucking sideways on them. Anyway, that's the end of the video. That's the end where...
The one thing I really couldn't...
That's the end where his editor decided that was a good video, so here we are. That's Asmongold. He responded to, nothing. And he gave us, nothing. And so here we are. Left with nothing. Hey, you made it to the end. I want to give an extra thanks to the patrons who allow me to do this full time. I want to thank Aaron Rail, Astral, Britzkrieg, Jemshin, Poundini, Red Joker, Victoria, Jonas, Craig, Tarika, Fireshard, Smiling GM, John, Dren Hadamada, Creeper, Sagitta, you know I'm not saying that last part, Valis of Sereth, Ottoman Angel, Rooster Rachel, and Fire Panda, who are all my $20 and up patrons.